Earlier tonight, I reached out to all of you on Twitter for your best questions that I could answer right here on a YouTube video. Man, the response was tremendous. More than 100 great comments. I've narrowed it down to 15 in the interest of time because I want to make this video short. Also, it's getting late. So, here we go. Erica Dunlap says, Brody, can we have a play date with the kiddos in the stomping ground and talk A's baseball? Erica, I know exactly what you're talking about. The stomping ground at the Coliseum. We have a 2-year-old. He's not necessarily good at sitting still, and that's why I hand it to Dave Cavill and Chris Giles for what they've done out at the Coliseum, basically making a playground in right center field for the little ones. Erica, sure, we can meet up sometime. The only thing I'm going to criticize you on here is your spelling of my first name. Now, look, it's right there on the handle that you replied to, @BrodyNBCS. You spelled it wrong there. But no, we can definitely hang out still. I'll move on to a Sharks question. Henry asking, do you see Jones and Dell getting a more even number of games in net this coming season, or will the Sharks stand pat in giving Jonesy the majority of minutes? Henry, I think to answer this question looking forward, you just need to look back to the last playoffs. And with the exception of the first 4 games, really not even the first one, but the next 3 that San Jose lost, I mean, Martin Jones after that was spectacular. He kept the team in games where maybe they didn't belong. And he also obviously helped them win games that they definitely deserved. I really feel like it was an aberration. Games 2, 3, and 4 in round 1 against Las Vegas, and they were scoring goals quick, early, often. And I don't know whatever changes he made, whether it was technical or just a mental approach. Obviously, something was dramatically different, and I think we got a chance to see what the real Martin Jones was all about. I understand that goaltending was widely criticized last season, not just Jones, but Dell included, and it definitely was not a problem when the team counted on the goalies the most, and Jones the most, in those last, handful of playoff games. So to me, I think it's still a majority of Martin Jones's time and games in net, although I don't think the team has ever shied away from using Aaron Dell. So I think the mix is going to be similar to what you saw last season. Carlos asking, how would the NHL look without a salary cap? That's an interesting question, and I think, unfortunately, you would see expansion on both sides. Remember, it's not just a salary cap in terms of how much you can spend. There's also a salary floor, which is the bare minimum that even the lowest paying teams have to spend. I would worry in a salary cap situation a little bit about some teams overdoing it and being able to spend way more, and especially big market teams, the New York Rangers, the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Chicago Blackhawks, those original 6 type teams which are very established and financially do quite well. I would worry about them being able to spend way more. But I also don't want to minimize what I would worry about most are the very smallest market of teams, like the Arizona Coyotes. Maybe they wouldn't even spend enough to get to the salary cap floor. There's one thing the NHL right now enjoys about itself, and that is parity, as in the best teams are not that much greater than the very worst teams. Don't get me wrong, there is definitely a gap, but the gap is not as wide as in other sports. Previn, and I hope I'm saying that name right, by the way, is this current call-up sink or swim time for Franklin Barreto? And who do you think the A's value more, Barreto or Mateo, as in Jorge Mateo? Look, that's a great question, and I'm here to tell you I've been watching the A's all season, and I've been keeping tabs on the AAA Las Vegas Aviators, but obviously Barreto has been around longer. Maybe Mateo has more hype in recent times. I'm just stoked for Franklin to get this chance at second base and what seems like an every game opportunity for now. He's come up before. He's been sent back down before. I know that none of the A's are happy to bring him up and send him back down in the past without really getting an opportunity to kind of work himself through some of the struggles. And so I think they have valued Franklin Barreto for so long. I don't know if this is necessarily sink or swim. I hope it is the opportunity to swim, and if it doesn't work, they'll put him back down in AAA because, again, he is so young in age and also in the career. I know he's been playing for a long time professionally, but not as old as many of his counterparts. So again, I just hope, number one, this is swim time for him. I don't think it's a potential sink time for him at all. And to answer the second part there, hard to relate him and Jorge Mateo to each other. I will say it is an interesting situation in Oakland. Marcus Semien is on a contract year right now. He's having a tremendous year right now. I only hope that Marcus isn't playing so well that he's playing himself out of a situation with the Oakland A's. You never know. It's just nice to have that depth if, in fact, Marcus wants to or has to go somewhere else. Next one here from Max Buzzard. Ooh, I like that name. Who is your dream target for the A's to pick up at the deadline to help us get over that stupid wild card hump? Not just a dream target, but also realistic. What do you think, Brody? Well, Max, I would love for you to check out my prior video here on the YouTube channel. It's all about the potential of the A's in landing Madison Bumgarner. Okay, I know that's a crazy thought, and I don't want to give away the entire details of that video. Yeah, it's a complete long shot. It would be interesting, right, for the A's to acquire that pitcher who would for sure, seemingly, will them through a wild card game and advance to the American League Divisional Series. That being said, maybe the A's don't need to acquire anybody like that to get to that next stage of the playoffs. Maybe a Jesus Luzardo is already in the system. Maybe an AJ Puck is already in the system. I'm really interested more than any trade acquisition, and this sounds weird, right? Usually you're wondering what the team can add externally. I am more interested in what this team can add internally. If they can get either one of those two guys up to the major league level by the end of this regular season. And to sum up the entire answer to this question, I think what the A's need most is pitching. I think positionally on the diamond, they're pretty set. I mean, optimally, of course, you want more everywhere, but I like the way they look out in the field. I think it all comes down to pitching, starting-wise, and hopefully a little bit of improvement from their bullpen. Jonathan Miller, who do you think will end up having more career homers between Olson and Chapman? Oh my goodness, Jonathan, I appreciate that thoughtful question. I guess it depends. Is the new ballpark at Howard Terminal a hitter's park or a pitcher's park? Are there going to be short fences for Ole in right field, or maybe for Chapman in left field, or maybe Chapman continues with this opposite field power and he uses more of right field? Look, that's a great question. I would wager that it would be Olson. I think if you look at the amount of games played and homers this season, clearly Olson's on a better pace, but right now Matt Chapman is sitting on 21 as I record this. So I think the reason you asked that question is because it is a great question. It's going to be close. I'd be wrong to sit here and give you a definitive answer on that one. But if I had to lean one side or the other, you know, Chappie's winning the Platinum Gloves. Let Ole hit a majority of the dingers. Kevin Tyler switching it back to hockey. What Sharks jersey should I buy? I was going to get Pavelski last year. Glad I held off. Yeah, Kevin, sorry about that. I still think rocking your number 8 Pavelski jersey is going to get a lot of good feelings around San Jose. I really do. I hope there's not any remorse or hard feelings there, but I think, you know, for me, I like to see the different ones. I know there's obvious choices out there, a jumbo jersey, or you could even go back to a Patty Marleau jersey or an Owen Nolan sweater. I realize all the classics are out there. I'm always interested in something that's a little bit different, and I haven't seen a ton of like Timo Meier jerseys out there. Or let me go a layer deeper than that. A guy I really like is Marcus Sorensen. So 28 or 20, I feel like are strong candidates. Like if you buy him now, you can have him for a long time, and you can watch that player grow with the number and name on your back. It just, again, I know all the obvious choices. Carlson, Couture, Burns, Vlasic. I've seen them. I get it. I just kind of like going off the radar just a little bit. And not to say that Timo Meier's off the radar at all. I just think if you're buying his jersey now, you are still ahead of the curve.